Alright, so with that, let's talk about sugar's effects on autoimmunity,
Okay.
since that's was advertised as the main point of this meeting.
Yep.
So we already went over how sugars can create inflammation. We already have a decent understanding of how that works. Do you have any questions furthering that?
No, there's no sugar in celery, I take it.
Not refined.
Okay, because
Um,
I feel like that's like a big hype of like using celery juice as for like inflammation.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Again, something I want to
We
look
can
further
look
into.
Okay.
I believe that celery juice is fine.
Okay.
I've tried it a few times, but stomaching it
Yeah, I hear you.
I couldn't do it.
Okay, so let's hear more about what you have to say about that.
Awesome. Yeah, okay. So, autoimmunity is fairly misunderstood still, even though it's 2020, and we have some pretty absurd science and techniques and this, that, and the other. And I personally feel that we should know, it would be obviously be benefit. We should know more.
Yeah.
If there's information being stifled or pushed back or buried, wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Keep people sick, keep them on meds, keep money coming in, which is why I'm really promoting healthier foods.
Yeah.
And as an example myself, like I said, I went from riding 1 mile on a bike to over
Yeah,
100 miles.
right.
Totally fine, all based on diet and lifestyle.
Mhm.
So due to that misunderstanding, I think there's a lot we could do to curb sugar, curb some other things, mental and physical stress, gluten, you name it. There's a lot out there to do. Of which is why I attribute my MS to the poor diet and nutrition.
Right.
I just feel that I was so ran down and didn't provide myself with a certain quality of life that kept me healthy.
Mhm.
And definitely through my diagnosis and through the one of a dozen neurologists I've had in the last 13 years, not a single one of them has ever promoted food as a remedy or beneficial.
Really? Wow.
I've been told as far as asking about, and I've asked every single one, I've been told like food has nothing to do with it. And it's almost not even their fault. It's more
Yeah.
so the education of the doctor.
Okay.
They learn nothing about nutrition, or
Yeah.
next to nothing,
Okay.
through med school, like Western commercialized medical
Got
school.
you.
A lot of those programs are actually subsidized or they're funded by big foods themselves, and those companies say, we'll give you this money, you teach this certain way.
Oh.
So they're just kind of feeding into the problem.
Okay.
And honestly, there's a lot. I speculate that big food might be in bed with big pharma.
Yeah.
You know, hey, you guys make them sick, we'll keep them going, we'll keep them, keep the money coming in,
Yeah.
keep them okay, but not heal them.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of what I'm trying to push is just diet and lifestyle.
Absolutely.
So the way sugar comes into that realm is that it causes inflammation, like we discussed, which is a disruption in the central nervous system throughout the body, white blood cells. It's confusing your system. It's heightening this, lessening that,
Mhm.
and through that, your white blood cells. And I'm speaking, I should say, more so to MS because that's what I'm most in tune with. Your white blood cells get a little confused in knowing what's what, where to go, and what to
Right.
do. Your white blood cells being your immune system. So, again, this is speculation, and I'm in training.
Okay.
What I speculate is that the sugars in my system at that time confused everything, kind of ran rampant, did whatever they wanted. The white blood cells went into my brain and on my spine and kind of attacked different places where they saw inflammation, sugars, and they just started like chomping away. We gotta get rid of this, we gotta get rid of this, gotta get rid of this. And in doing so, they created lesions or scar tissue in my brain, which severed some of the neural connections, and then on my spine as well, which is why I don't have feeling in my hands or my feet. Got some cognitive issues, so memorizing things is it's a little frustrating. And then there's some other issues. And so through eating a lot of anti-inflammatory foods,
Yes.
like the currants we had earlier,
Okay.
blueberries that we had earlier, those are the types of foods that, what I like to say, calm the inflammation down. Much like
So antioxidants,
they are, but anti-inflammatories.
anti-inflammatories.
Yeah. So, yeah. Go ahead.
Are nuts also anti-inflammatories?
There might be some nuts that have
Okay.
more than others,
Okay.
but nuts are a healthy fat.
Okay.
They provide calories, they provide some other minerals and vitamins. I wouldn't say they're anti-inflammatories, but again, that's something I need to look into
Okay.
a little bit further. I am in
appreciate-
training.
Yeah, I know, I
Yeah.
appreciate you answering my questions to your knowledge and
Yeah.
letting me know that you're gonna, you're open to looking into it, and so thank you, I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. My
Yeah.
purpose isn't to try to sell you on anything or
Right.
sway you any way. I just would rather educate and pass information along best I can.
Great.
It's all stuff that I didn't have access or I didn't make time for when I was younger,
Right,
and then I ended up with this really cool disease.
yeah,
So, yeah. But as you know, I can joke about it.
yeah,
It's no big deal. But speaking of that, if you remember, as poor as my diet was, I was also very fit. I was active. 4 or 5 hours a day at the skate park, in the streets, skating, at the ramp, is more than a lot of people train for soccer, baseball, football,
Mhm.
those types of things.
yeah,
And not putting them down, but
no,
it was never work, or it was never a workout for me.
yeah,
I enjoyed it, and so I was extremely fit. I did it for 20 years, yet I still was able to contract maybe the wrong word, able to end up with this disease.
yeah,
So it's important that foods are looked into and taken
Mhm.
into consideration
Yeah,
as far as staying healthy. So yeah, I guess wrapping that part up, I guess that's in accepting that I have the disease and that I found that diet and lifestyle have been my savior in cutting sugar and limiting gluten, if not cutting gluten altogether, which is a separate conversation. Just accepting that that's my new lifelong commitment,
Mhm.
and it's worked so well for the last 3 years
Yeah.
being med-free. I'm not going to say that I'm cured by any means,
Yeah.
but I have turned a few symptoms around slowly because this disease crept over a lifetime, 27 years,
Mhm.
28 years of eating poorly.
Right,
So let's just call it 28 years to fix it. And if I'm 3 years in, it's not far.
yeah,
25 more years, I'm alright with that. I feel better, stronger than I've ever
Yeah.
felt in my life. So it's really just kind of myself as an example. It's just proof that you can turn these things around by curbing sugar, curbing X, curbing Y, curbing Z.
yes.
So, but with that said, do you have any other questions?
I wanna keep going, I'm learning so much, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Well, let's
So-
get into a quick little activity.
Okay,
I have these kind of silly, but we'll see how it works. Camera's so far away. So what we're gonna do here is I have these cans. What is this? I have these cans, and the red on the bottom of them indicates the content of sugar in 4 different very common drinks.
mhm,
And if I may, I would like you, and I know I should do it this way. Let's match. Let me borrow this real quick. Where are we at?
45,
Seconds?
yeah,
Okay. Let's just stop it. Because that'll give me time to think what to do. Because I honestly hadn't even thought of this part.